This is what we were expecting from you. Midterms this bad? Are you even serious about your future? You sat quietly, eyes glued to the carpet, the silence louder than their scolding. Each word from your father felt like a blow to your chest. Jungkook stood on the side, leaning against the wall, arms folded, his expression like stone. How could you be so careless, Wine? We trusted you, we believed in you, but it seems like you don't even care. Then Mr. Kim's gaze shifted coldly toward Jungkook. And you, what exactly are you doing as her professor, Jungkook? What do you teach her if she still feels like this? Or is this relationship distracting you both? Jungkook didn't flinch. His eyes remained on the ground, unmoving, but you couldn't take it anymore. No, please, Appa, don't blame him. He's not at fault. He stayed up with me during revision, even skipped his own rest to help me. It's me, I couldn't manage. I let everyone down. Well, clearly, whatever he's doing isn't working. Either he's not focused or you are not, but it's shameful for both of you. Jungkook finally looked up, locking eyes with you for a brief second. His stare was unreadable. Cold, then without a single word in his defense, he turned and left the room. The door to his bedroom clicked shut behind him. Your chest ached with guilt, throat burning with unshed tears. We warned you one more failure and there will be consequences. This won't be tolerated again. And just like that, they walked out, leaving behind a heavy silence that screamed louder than their words. You stood up slowly and moved toward Jungkook's room. The door was slightly open and then your heart stopped. Shards of the broken walls were scattered across the wooden floor, like fragile pieces of everything that had just fallen apart. Jungkook stood near the desk, his knuckles fresh and angry. Jungkook, you gasped, rushing in. What did you do? How did this happen? He turned slightly, but his voice was colder than the room. Why do you care now? You tried to reach for his hand, but he jerked it away sharply. Let me see it. Don't touch me, Wine. It's because of you since the beginning. No one ever questioned my teaching. Not one person. But today I was humiliated, and maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not enough. Not as a professor, not even as someone you trust. He shouted. Stop. Don't say that, please. I trust you more than anyone. You are the only reason I made it this far. Made it this far? You failed, Wine. You failed, and still you defend me. Because I know you. I know how much you care, how much effort you put in. Don't let their words make you doubt that, please. I'll work harder. I swear, Jungkook. I'll fix this. I'll fix us. He let out a bitter, quiet laugh, barely audible. How many times are you going to say that, huh? Every time something breaks, you promise to fix it, but you never do. Don't walk away from me, not like this. But he was already stepping into the bathroom, the door slowly closing behind him with a quiet finality that shattered something inside you more than the walls ever could. The next morning felt heavier than usual. Your limbs moved on autopilot as you walked through the college gates, your mind still replaying the events of last night. Like a cruel movie on loop. You hadn't slept much, if at all, and your eyes were still puffy from crying, though you did your best to hide it with a little concealer and a forced smile. But it didn't fool her. As you walked down the hallway, a pair of arms suddenly wrapped around your shoulders from behind, warm and familiar. Why, my sleepy baby, why do you always leave without me? She paused mid sentence as you moved to your side, her eyes scanning your face. The smile on her lips faded in an instant. Wait, what's wrong with your face? You didn't sleep, did you? Did you cry? Wine? What happened? You looked down. trying to blink back the tears stinging at the corner of your eyes again. But when Unji placed her hand on your arm gently and asked again, "Hey, talk to me," you couldn't hold it anymore. Without saying a word, you turned and hugged her tightly, your arms wrapped around her as if she was the only thing keeping you from falling apart right there in the hallway. You buried your face in her shoulder as your voice cracked softly. "It was so bad last night, Unji. My parents, they scolded me in front of Jungkook. They insulted him and he didn't say anything. He just walked away. I found him later and he broke something and he blamed himself and then he walked away from me." She held you tighter, her hand gently rubbing your back. "Oh, Wine, I'm so sorry you went through that. You don't deserve to be made to feel like this, especially not by the people who should support you the most." You nodded weakly, sniffling into her shoulder. "I feel like I ruined everything. I disappointed everyone, even him." Unji pulled back slightly, holding your face in her hands with a soft but determined look. "First of all, stop. You didn't ruin anything. You're not alone, okay? Jungkook, he will understand once the dust settles. And your parents, they were harsh, but they were just worried. You are under pressure. That doesn't make you a failure, it just makes you human." She paused and tried to lighten the mood with a playful grin. "And seriously, if you keep crying like this, your face is going to look like a potato all day. Tragic." You gave her a small laugh through your sniffles, the first real smile in what felt like days. "Potato, really?" "Yes, a sad little potato with bad eyeliner. Come on, fix that face and let's go to class before the professor turns into Voldemort again." You giggled, wiping your tears with your sleeve as she grabbed your hand and pulled you toward the classroom. The weight in your chest had not completely lifted, but for the first time since last night, it felt just a little lighter. You sat in your seat quietly, your notebook open, but your eyes unfocused. Your mind was too noisy to concentrate, and your heart sank the moment the classroom door clicked open. Chungkook walked in dressed sharply as usual, but his energy was different. He didn't glance at you, not even once. His gaze swept across the room as he placed his things on the desk, but when it came to you, it was like you didn't exist. That's when you noticed the bandage. His right hand, the one he had cut last night, was tightly wrapped in clean white gauze. The sight made your chest tighten all over again. You wanted to rush to him, ask how it was, apologize again, but he never gave you the chance. He stood at the front, his voice turned. "Tomorrow is the final test for his section. The consequences will be bad if anyone fails." He paused, and for a fleeting second, his eyes met yours very bad. Then, without saying anything else, he picked up his notes, walked out of the classroom, and left you sitting there with your guilt louder than a heartbeat. Later in the cafeteria, you sat with Unji, poking at your tray while she rambled beside you about some ridiculous video she saw. And then the guy actually fell into the fountain face first. I mean, who even runs like that? I was like watching a chicken learning to skate. You laughed weakly, but your smile didn't quite reach your eyes. "Okay, no, enough sad wine. Here, eat this, your favorite." She handed you a foil wrapped samosa, your go to comfort snack. You took it from her, but the moment you unwrapped it, the smell hit you weird. You scrunched up your nose, holding it away from your face. Ew, why does this smell like expired shampoo today? Huh? You love this. You really fought a seagull for it once, remember? Well, the seagull started it. Yeah, but you ended it. You both laughed, the tension lifting for a moment as you reached for your cold drink instead and took a few slow sips. Then, while the bell rang, you both stood up and began walking back to the classroom. On the way, Onji threw her arms around you again with a smile. Wait, which perfume are you using today, Onji? You scrunched your nose again dramatically. The same one you gave me for my birthday and made me swear to always wear because you said it was heaven in a bottle. She narrowed her eyes playfully, but not today, hmm? You blinked in confusion as she leaned closer with a teasing grin. You know why this happens, right? Why? Because little June is coming. Oh, wait, what? You shouted louder than intended. A few students nearby turning their heads, your cheeks burned instantly. It's not like that. You always twist things. Okay, okay, chill. I'm joking. You two are married. Wine. Anything could be happening. I'm just saying it's giving main character energy. You covered your face in embarrassment as he giggled, dragging you into the classroom again, your cheeks still red, while your heart beat just a little faster. The day felt unusually heavy. You returned home exhausted, your body dragging itself through the door as if gravity had doubled. Your stomach twisted slightly, and a strange queasiness had been crawling in your chest since morning, but you brushed it off as tiredness. Your head ached and your eyelids fluttered as you reached the living room and sank onto the couch. The soft cushions felt like heaven under your aching back. Without even realizing it, your hand rested over your lower stomach as you slowly drifted to sleep right there. Your breathing softened, eyes shut, mind hazy. Sometime later, the front door creaked open. Jungkook entered, his footsteps calm but steady. His eyes immediately found you curled on the couch, hair messy, mouth slightly open in sleep. A soft sigh escaped his lips. He stood there for a moment, watching. Despite everything, there was still something about you that pulled him close, even when he tried to distance himself. Without waking you, he went to freshen up. By the time the clock showed 4:30 p.m., Jungkook had stepped quietly into the kitchen. He opened the fridge, scanned the shelves, then glanced at his bandaged hand before tying an apron around his waist. The injury stung when he moved too much, but still he got to work. Unji had told him earlier, telling him you skipped lunch, complained of dizziness, and looked pale. That was all he needed to hear. He chopped vegetables slowly, stirred the soup with his uninjured hand. The aroma of dinner filled the quiet house. When he returned to living room, you were half awake, sitting on the couch, hair still wild and expression dazed. Go freshen up and let's eat. His voice was low but firm. You looked at him at the bandage on his hand, and yet he was cooking for you, not complaining once. Your throat tightened with emotion. You gave him a small nod and stood up slowly, walking to the bathroom. After changing out of your college uniform and splashing cold water on your face, you joined him at the dining table. He had already served the food quietly. You sat down opposite him. He didn't say much, just motioned for you to eat. The soup was warm, comforting, and laced with care you didn't deserve. But craved deeply. After dinner, you insisted on washing the dishes, despite his glance that said, "Don't strain yourself." Once done, you quietly stepped into your shared room and sat down, your fingers hesitantly brushing over your physics book on the table. Pick your physics book, start preparing for tomorrow's test. If you need help, ask me, okay? You noted you didn't want to disappoint him again. You opened the book and tried focusing on the chapters, but your head throbbed and your body felt strange again. A sudden wave of nausea climbed up your throat. You froze, trying to control it. His eyes were already on you from the bed. But the second wave came stronger. You couldn't hold it this time. You pushed your chair back and rushed to the bathroom, hands over your mouth. Jungkook was right behind you in a heartbeat. As you leaned over the sink, emptying your stomach, his hand moved to your back instinctively, soothing in gentle circular motion. You okay? You weakly nodded after raising your mouth, your body trembling a little. You turned to face him, your eyes glassy. Without a word, he scooped you up in his arms, bridal style, ignoring the pain in his hand. You gasped softly at the sudden closeness, but he didn't meet your eyes. He gently placed you on the bed, pulling the blanket over you. Then his brows furrowed in concern. He touched your forehead, checking his for fever. You saw that same professor side of him taking over, calm, observant, and protective. Without wasting a second, he pulled out his phone and called the house doctor. Yeah, she's running a slight temperature and she just threw up. Come as soon as possible. He hung up and sat beside the bed, his thumb brushing over the bandage on his palm as he glanced toward you. His jaw tight, eyes unreadable. You lay there in silence, unsure if you were more scared of what he would say or how much he still cared. About half an hour later, the house bell rang. Jungkook opened the door to find Dr. Min Hyjin, their longtime family physician, standing there with her usual calm expression and a small medical bag in hand. He nodded and quietly led her to the room where you lay, propped slightly against the pillows, your face pale but calmer now. The moment Dr. Min entered, she smiled softly at you and began her checkup. She checked your pulse, felt your forehead, and asked a few questions about your health and any recent symptoms. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Wine, when was your last period? You blinked, surprised by the question, and mumbled, I think it's late, a few weeks. She gave a small hum, took out a test kit from her bag, and asked you to excuse her for a moment. After running a quick test and checking the results, she paused, eyes softening. Then she stood and walked to the door. Chungshi, could you come inside for a moment? He looked confused but followed her without a word, stepping inside the bedroom again, concern etched in every corner of his face. Congratulations to both of you, Wine is pregnant. The words hung in the air like warm sunlight on a cold day. You looked up at Jungkook through wide eyes. The early symptoms she's feeling nausea, fatigue, emotional sensitivity. It all makes sense now. I'll leave you both alone now. Here's the prescription and some initial supplements. And Jungkook, make sure she eats properly and rests. She gave a light smile, packed her bag, and walked out. Jungkook silently followed her to the door, still too stunned to speak. After seeing her off, he walked back to the bedroom. You were still curled up in bed, holding the blanket close to your chest, staring at the soft light on the ceiling. Chongo quietly sat beside you, eyes scanning your face. Then he heard a small sniffle, then another. His heart twisted. Without thinking, he reached forward and pulled you gently into his lap. His hand cradled the back of your head, pressing it against his chest. Why? And hey, why are you crying? You shook your head, voice muffled against his shirt. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't take care of myself. I didn't even realize, and yesterday, because of me, you got scolded. Your hand got hurt. He tightened his arms around you, eyes shut tightly. Stop, don't say that. I should be the one saying sorry. I ignored you when you needed me. I let their words affect me. I let you face everything alone. I was angry, but I never stopped caring for you. You looked at him, tears clinging to your lashes. But I couldn't even study well. I made you look bad as a professor. He cupped your cheeks gently, wiping your tears with his thumbs. Forget the test, forget the marks. None of that matters right now. You're having my baby, why? And all I can think about is how I almost pushed you away. His voice cracked for a second. We are going to be parents. You let out a shaky laugh through the tears and nodded. You're going to be such a scary dad. Well, if our kid gets bad grades, I might yell, but not at you. You both chuckled, the room suddenly lighter. He kissed your forehead softly and pulled the blanket over your legs again. Now rest, no more lifting plates, no more skipping meals, no more hiding when you are feeling weak, okay? Okay, but only if you promise to take care of your hand too. Deal. And just like that, the silence between you turned from cold and distant into something warm, full of quiet love and the beginning of a brand new chapter.